asked. That's why I will always recommend Drennan & Ford for end-of-life decisions. They handle the hurt like no one else can. Call 360-457-1210.
When you need surgery, timing is everything. At Olympic Medical Center, our skilled general surgery team is here for you 24 hours a day, ensuring you get the care you need. From planned procedures like hernia repairs to emergencies like appendectomies and even full trauma care, we're ready. Meet our dedicated local team and learn more about our comprehensive services at olympicmedical.org/general surgery.
In 1959, Mount Pleasant IGS opened their doors. The newest neighborhood gas and grocery quickly became the one-stop shop for many. Mount Pleasant IGS is still a favorite. Times may have changed, like 25-cent a gallon gas and 20-cent loaves of bread, but the same hometown country store feel is still there, and their customer service is still top priority. From snacks, drinks, and fresh produce to automotive needs, electrical supplies, and fishing bait, Mount Pleasant IGS is still your one-stop shop.
In other news, when 5 women step out onto the football field this Friday at Civic Field in Port Angeles, they'll do something that's never been done in Washington State history. Those 5 women will be the first ever all-female officiating crew for a boys' varsity football game in Washington. The women part of the North Olympic Football Officials Association, which recruits, trains, and provides the officials you see at high school games from Quilcene to Neah Bay. The president of the organization is Dave Farrington. We asked him how this historic game came to be, and he said, well, first you'd have to start with Kayla Olin.
We've had one official, Kayla Olin, who's going to be the referee that night. She's been with us since she got out of high school back in somewhere in 2016, maybe. She is currently a college official. She was the first woman to ever work a high school state championship game in the state of Washington. And she's also the first girl to ever be the head referee. And that happened last year.
The 5 women, all from the Olympic Peninsula. The crew will be led by the referee there, Olin from Port Townsend. The umpire will be Molly Mahan of Port Angeles. The head linesman, Rainey Senior of Clallam Bay. Maggie Wright from Port Angeles will handle line judge duties. And the back judge, Shayla Wood of Sequim. Farrington says that since Olin came on board, the organization's had a lot of success recruiting young women, so much that out of the 25 or so total crew of officials, 40% are now women. By the way, we'll bring you that Rough Rider versus Mount Baker game live here on Friday with your host, Ole Archibald, starting at 5 o'clock here on KONP. Thousands of Washington State community and community college employees are voting on a revised contract that could restore a 3% raise they missed back in July. About 5,300 members of the Washington Public Employees Association were left out of the increase after failing to ratify their contract in time for the state budget. The new deal would provide that raise retroactively along with a 2% boost next July, voting running through September 14th. This is Newsradio KONP.
You may have seen on the news, gold and silver are at an all-time high. Ever wonder what your old jewelry and coin collections are worth? Come see me at American Rare Coin and Gold in Sequim. We can all use a little extra money, right? Here at American Rare Coin, we love to buy gold and silver and provide you the best prices. American Rare Coin and Gold, 338 West Washington in Sequim, or call 360-968-4943. 360-968-4943.
Today, Port Angeles Public Works Director Scott Curtin on the Stage 2 water conservation and local water testing. Then Don Corson of Camaraderie Cellars joins us with some wine pairing tips. And later, actor Tim Daly of Wings and the Creative Coalition talks about protecting the National Endowment for the Arts.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy Farmers Insurance.
Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. Come out to Olympic Game Farm for some tender love and care. Now it's not impolite to stick out your tongue, considering the critters you'll be among. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears. The llama and the yak know you wanna come back, and the tiger always gets a few stares. Come out to Olympic Game Farm. It's the home of the waving bears.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 72. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 58 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 74 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 72 Friday under partly cloudy skies. 69 Saturday. Slight chance for showers. Take a look at the extended forecast. 66 Sunday, 65 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Milestone homers yesterday, but perhaps bittersweet. Good morning, I'm Jay Reynolds. Mariners get home run number 51 from Cal Raleigh, but it comes in a 6-5 loss to the Rays. 51 homers this season. Third most by a switch hitter in Major League history. Mickey Mantle holding the top 2 spots. Then there's Shohei Ohtani.
And Ohtani swings and he drills it deep to right field. It is gone. A line drive right over the Clemente wall. Home run number 46 for Ohtani. And the Dodgers have another run on the board. It's 4-2. That was an absolute laser beam that was hit 22 feet high.
Clemente wall in Pittsburgh is 21 feet high. Ohtani just getting it over that. AM 570 LA Sports. Home run number 46 on the season, number 100 as a Dodger, but it comes in an LA loss, 9-7 to the Pirates. Yankees get 2 homers from Jazz Chisholm and a grand slam from Trent Grisham. They beat Houston 7-1. Astros pitcher Framber Valdez insisting after the game he did not throw at his own catcher in frustration. Giants beat the Rockies 7-4. There was frustration there. Dugouts emptying during the home run trot of Rafael Devers. Cubs beat the Braves 4-3. Blue Jays get past the Reds 12-9. Chicago and Toronto both with their 80th wins of the season. Mets pound the Tigers 12-5. Red Sox top the Guardians 11-7. 7th straight loss for Cleveland. Texas has a 6-game win streak snapped with a 5-3 loss to the Diamondbacks. Orioles 6-2 over the Padres. Nationals beat the Marlins 5-2. U.S. Open, Novak Djokovic is into the semis with a 4-set win over American Taylor Fritz. He's won all 11 times they've played. Djokovic with his 53rd career major semifinal, most ever in the Open era. WNBA, Valkyries' 4th straight win, beating the Liberty by 8. New York loses, but clinches a playoff spot because the Fever losing to the Mercury. College football, Ohio State moves up to number 1 in the latest AP poll. Penn State is 2. LSU, Georgia, Miami round out the top 5.
In local sports, the number 1 ranked Peninsula Pirates soccer teams will wrap up their exhibition season this week before opening NWAC play on September 10th at home against Skagit Valley. The Pirate men travel south tomorrow to face Evergreen State College at noon, followed by a 5 p.m. kickoff against PLU. The Pirate women will cross the border Friday for a 5 p.m. matchup against the University of Victoria on Vancouver Island. When the Skagit Valley Cardinals come to Port Angeles, local soccer fans will see a familiar face. Former Port Angeles Rough Rider Paige Mason, now a sophomore midfielder for the Cardinals. Meanwhile, former Squim Wolves All-State standout Taryn Johnson will make her NCAA Division II debut with Minnesota State Mankato. Johnson redshirted last season due to injury, and her Mavericks have been picked by the media to win the Northern Sun Conference. They open their season Friday at home against Central Oklahoma. High school cross country on the schedule today with both Squim and Port Angeles competing in Silverdale. That meet begins at 5 at the Kitsap County Fairgrounds. In girls swimming, Port Angeles will host Squim and 4 other schools Friday at Williams Shore Pool starting at 3 o'clock. And the countdown is on for Friday night football. The Port Angeles Rough Riders will open at Civic Field against Mount Baker with a kickoff at 6 o'clock. Coverage on KONP begins at 5:05 with the Enemy Coaches Show featuring longtime Mount Baker head coach Ron Lepper, now entering its 30th season. The Dustin Clark Show follows, leading into the Rough Riders Locker Room Show, all here on KONP Friday evening.
Swung on and crossed. Right field. It is on its way. It is gone. Hal Rowley, number 51. A no-doubter deep into the Tampa night. His historic season continues, adds to his own record.
Well, Cal Raleigh hit his 51st homer last night, extending his major league record for home runs by a catcher and drawing closer to Mickey Mantle for the most by a switch hitter, but it wasn't enough. Tampa Bay Rays still beat the Seattle Mariners 6-5 last night. The two teams wrap up the series this afternoon, 3:30 airtime here on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales.
This is Ed from Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Our family has trucked hay to feed the hungry animals in Western Washington for 4 generations. In that time, we have built a growing legacy of serving the needs of our customers, and we've never stopped. In 2014, we ventured into the equipment world by becoming a dealer and service provider for Mahindra tractors. Since then, we have partnered with quality brands such as Bad Boy, Aaron's Gravely, LS Tractor, Husqvarna, Snake River Trailers, and now Wacker Neuson Construction Equipment. We have a 3-bay shop where we not only service the brands we sell, but we also work on most major brands including Kubota, John Deere, and New Holland. We carry a wide variety of parts, filters, belts, and fluids. We have a fully stocked hydraulic shop and can build hoses for most machines while you wait. Chainsaw or weed eater needs some TLC, we work on small engines too. We even offer welding and fabrication services. We have been earning the Peninsula's trust for over 25 years with your animal's care. We look forward to earning your trust with your equipment's care too.
Newsradio KONP Business. This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. A drop in job openings is prompting optimism on Wall Street. Traders are now betting the Fed will cut interest rates multiple times in the coming months due to the weak labor data. Macy's CEO, who took the reins just last year, tells Bloomberg the company is seeing a strong back-to-school season, and he says that bodes well for the holidays. Macy's is raising its annual outlook, but says it may have to raise prices to deal with pending tariff hikes. Lululemon is taking a page from Nike's playbook and is enlisting a roster of athletes to help pull the yoga wear brand out of a sales rut. The company has done little traditional sports advertising on its way to surpassing $10 billion in sales, but now American tennis star Frances Tiafoe is wearing Lululemon apparel at the U.S. Open, and golfer Max Homa now dons the brand's gear on the PGA Tour. The Dow is down 0.5%, the S&P up 0.1%, the Nasdaq up 0.5%. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Check the roads next.
Are you tossing and turning every night, waking up with pains you know shouldn't be there? Most likely, the culprit is your bed. And right now at Angelus Furniture, during the Labor Day event, you can fix that with huge savings on a new mattress. Save up to $500 on a new Sealy, up to $700 on a new Tempur-Pedic, or up to $800 off a Stearns & Foster mattress. Save yourself from extra aches and pains during the Labor Day mattress event, going on now through September 9th at Angelus Furniture.
At McCrory Carpet One, they know how important it is to feel confident in your flooring selection. You want to know it's going to look exactly the way you want it once it's installed in your home. That's why they offer their one-of-a-kind guarantee, making sure you're 100% happy that the floor you've created together is as beautiful as the one in your dreams. If not, they'll replace it for free. That's what they call the Beautiful Guarantee. Peace of mind is yours with every installation. Always priced right, always done right. McCrory Carpet One.
Newsradio KONP. Traffic and roads.
Right up to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center we go now. That's where Steve's standing by with a look at what's happening on the roads this noon hour for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of a busy afternoon out there if you're trying to make your way through the Port Angeles or the Swim area right now. Steady all the way across the Port Angeles area down Front and First Street. Just a lot of traffic right through there. Also, most of the other main streets here in town, 8th Street, Lincoln, just plan on some little bit of slow going out there. Swim's the same way along Washington Street, Swim Avenue, 5th Avenue, those areas. It's moving along, but a little slow in places, so just be prepared for that. If you're on the highway between the two cities, it's busy out there as well, but moving along much better. We're pretty much the speed limit all the way between Port Angeles and Swim. If you're headed out any further, Hood Canal Bridge good to go with no scheduled marine openings, and state ferries are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, 101, we're in pretty good shape all the way out to the Forks area. Milepost 227 at Lake Crescent, there is a tree down. It's just over the fog line. People are going to have to kind of move out of the way to get around it, so be very careful out there. So everybody take care, be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clallam Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Going to be sunny today. We'll get to the upper 70s this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight, lows in the mid-50s to low 60s. Sunshine again tomorrow, mid-70s to around 80 as well. Right now, a lot of sunshine across the peninsula. 67 in Port Townsend, also 67 in Squim, and it's 66 degrees out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles.
ABC Entertainment News.
We're in position.
Let's go to work, Bravo.
Paramount is feeling the Call of Duty. The studio has signed a deal with Activision, the video game company behind Call of Duty, to make a movie out of the popular military series. K-pop Demon Hunters continues to dominate the music streaming charts with hits like Golden. The animated film about a group of pop singers who fight monsters recently became the most watched Netflix movie ever. Star Arden Cho tells ABC Audio the movie really resonated with the younger demographic.
It's really amazing how much children know now. I've had like 7-year-olds running up to me and hugging me at the airport, and I'm like, how do you even know? And they're like, I Googled you.
And Charlie Sheen is celebrating a birthday today. The one-time 2.5 Men star is 60. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
A better life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
For those of us who work Monday to Friday, it's safe to say the majority of people look forward to Saturday and Sunday, the weekend. But a colleague of mine spoke with a psychologist from UPenn the other day who said there are 5 weekdays and only 2 weekend days. So, if most of the time you're looking back or you're looking forward, you may be missing out on your life. I don't think he's wrong here. We all know that feeling of exhaustion that comes at the end of the workday. But counterintuitively, science shows that doing something fun and exciting after work, rather than immediately heading home and plopping on the couch, actually leads to you feeling more energized. Pro tip: if you make plans with friends and pay beforehand, you'll be more likely to show up. These extracurriculars can help give your life more meaning too, outside of your job. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Here's a tale of Becky. Didn't know what to do with new meds prescribed and no real cost clue.
She squinted at prices, that can't be right. Then tapped GoodRx and saw the light.
She can get a deal. Book telehealth if she feels.
Learn about those meds without any stress. That one little app does all the rest. Even my horse downloaded it. Dang, save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Most parents offer their children incentives to behave well, but many moms and dads don't understand the difference between a bribe and a reward. Think about what Kim went through. She asked her daughter to get into a shopping cart, and her daughter flatly refused. To avoid creating a scene, Kim said, "If you get into the cart, you can have a lollipop." Kim avoided a crisis for the moment, but she had a feeling she'd be buying her daughter a lollipop every time she wanted her daughter to behave. And she just might, until she learns the difference between bribing children and rewarding them. A bribe usually happens after children have already misbehaved. It's an easy way to get the behavior to stop, but it also teaches kids that acting poorly is the quickest way to get what they want. A reward, on the other hand, reinforces good behavior by celebrating when children do the right thing. Reinforcement works best when you let your children know exactly what they did well. So instead of a vague "good job," try something like this: "You did a great job cleaning up your room and putting away all your toys." Rewards can also be simple. A heartfelt compliment may be all that some children need, but simple ideas like extra playtime with a friend or letting them stay up a little later can be effective as well. Remember, a bribe reinforces a child's bad behavior. A reward reinforces their choice to do what's right. To help your children thrive, visit FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly. God is at work, and He's calling His people to rise in truth. Truth Rising is a powerful new documentary from Focus on the Family and the Colson Center. See how ordinary Christians choose courage in a culture that needs truth. Watch Truth Rising starting September 5th and find out how you can be a part of the change and become an agent of restoration. Sign up at truthrising.com. That's truthrising.com.
Hi, this is John Holm, president of Tri-State Roofing, your local and family-owned company covering the entire Olympic Peninsula area. The difference with Tri-State Roofing is we separate ourselves with the quality of products we offer, customer service, including an A+ rating with the BBB, solid safety plans, and the best labor guarantees around. Call 360-208-2222.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Today, Port Angeles Public Works Director Scott Curtin on the Stage 2 water conservation and local water testing. Then Don Corson of Camaraderie Cellars joins us with some wine pairing tips. And later, actor Tim Daly of Wings and the Creative Coalition talks about protecting the National Endowment for the Arts.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Klahani Gymnastics is so much more than mats, bars, and balance beams. It's a place for building strength and confidence in our kids. It's promoting self-esteem and key building blocks for a healthy lifestyle. And of course, fitness is always fun at Klahani. Get the favorite child in your life a gift certificate for tuition and call to check on our schedule for upcoming classes. 360-457-5187. Klahani Gymnastics on Acorn Lane in Port Angeles. Making fitness fun since 2009.
This is Husky football.
Coleman space on the left side. Does it again. Goes for the home run ball. Has Denzel Boston open in the end zone. I think he got it.
It's another Saturday under the lights at Husky Stadium as Washington hosts UC Davis.
In the pocket, steps up, grabbed and down.
Kickoff is at 8.
Guess who? Zach Durfee.
Catch all the action on your home for UW football
on Newsradio KONP. Huskies football brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm John Scott. President Trump says he has no hard feelings toward Tesla CEO Elon Musk and believes his one-time ally will return to the Republican Party.
What's he going to do? He's going to go with the radical left lunatics? You know, they're lunatics. I don't think he has a choice. He's a man of common sense. He's a good man. He got off the reservation incorrectly, and that's okay because, you know, it's just one of those things.
The president interviewed on the Scott Jennings Show on the Salem Radio Network. Earlier this summer, Musk announced plans to start his own political party. President Trump says he will direct federal law enforcement intervention to combat crime in Chicago and Baltimore. White House correspondent Greg Clugston.
We're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in.
The president will be taking action over the objections of state and local officials in both Chicago and Baltimore.
We're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country.
Donald Trump has already sent National Guard troops into Washington and federalized the police force here in the nation's capital, where he has legal authority. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Google receives a mixed decision in court.
A federal judge's ruling will require a shakeup of Google's search engine, but stopped short of ordering the sale of Chrome in a government antitrust case. The decision orders Google to give rivals access to some of its search engine secrets, including data stockpiled to create search results. Google fiercely opposed this resolution. The ruling is anticipated to cause ripple effects across an industry where there's little legal precedent to govern its frontiers. Google has vowed to appeal this decision and to continue fighting a separate DOJ litigation. George Williams, Washington.
The Dow 232 points in the red, but the NASDAQ is up 114. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454. 800-226-5454.
There was no shortage of pageantry at Wednesday's military parade in Beijing, but beyond the spectacle, it also provided a good first look at China's latest military hardware. China has recently added new missiles, drones, and other high-tech equipment to its arsenal. It's part of a massive modernization program. Well, here's something for the person who has everything.
A Cold War-era bunker in western England is going up for auction later this month. Built to withstand a nuclear blast, it's one of about 1,500 shelters constructed for the Royal Observer Corps to monitor nuclear attacks. Most of these bunkers now sit empty, occasionally coming up for resale since being decommissioned in the 1990s. Last year, a similar bunker sold for $64,000 in northern England. The bunker, located in the village of Hallen, is described as a unique investment opportunity. Keith Peters, Washington.
Breaking news at townhall.com. A handful of college athletes are suing the NCAA over a redshirt rule in a case that could cover thousands.
Vanderbilt linebacker Langston Patterson and former Hawaii quarterback Braden Shager are among 10 plaintiffs suing the NCAA over its redshirt rule that puts restrictions on the 5 years athletes have to practice, play, and graduate. The class action lawsuit filed in U.S. District Court for the Middle District of Tennessee alleges the NCAA violates U.S. antitrust laws with how its redshirt rule covers playing time for athletes during eligibility. The lawsuit includes potentially thousands of current and former NCAA players. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Oregon lawmakers gathered in Salem last Friday for a special session focused on transportation funding. But while the state Senate met as scheduled, the state House failed to reach the two-thirds quorum required to conduct business, leaving the session in limbo. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is the Newsradio KONP Noon Report.
Tom Rotoff in the KONP News Center. Here's a look at what's happening on this Wednesday, September 3rd. Port Angeles City Council appointed John Hamilton last night as its newest member. Hamilton will serve in position number 7 until voters elect a council member in the November 2027 election. Hamilton will be sworn in prior to the upcoming September 16th meeting. Date and time still yet to be determined exactly when the swearing in will happen. Hamilton, who has lived in Port Angeles since 2010, is the vice president of the Port Angeles Education Association, where he represents over 175 educators in collective bargaining and other issues. He's also a math teacher at Port Angeles High School and has degrees in mathematics education and science education. John Curley, an endurance swimmer from Ireland, is celebrating today after completing a brutal swim across the Strait of Juan de Fuca yesterday. Curley's attempting to be the first swimmer to complete what's known among open water swimmers as the Toughest 13, a group of 13 swims that span the globe. For this leg of the challenge, Curley started at Twin Rivers Beach here in Clallam County and made the crossing to Harrison Point in British Columbia with an official time of 8 hours, 13 minutes. Now, we spoke with Curley's coach, Jer Kennedy, who was riding aboard the escort boat when Curley was about two-thirds of the way across the strait in that frigid 52-degree water yesterday.
He's on target. Now, we started further west so we could use the flood tide in our favour. And so, in fact, the shortest distance of the swim would be approximately, I think it's about 12 miles. That's the shortest distance, but you have to factor in the tide. So we've added more miles onto the swim. We're actually using the tide in his favour now. That's why we're actually having a pretty good day. Look, he's doing pretty good. It's not over till it's over because cold water can hit you very hard here, you know.
Now, the Toughest 13 Challenge takes swimmers to the distant waters of Hawaii as well as South Africa, Australia, also in South America. The famous Loch Ness in Scotland's on the list, and also the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Along the way across the strait, Curley stopped every 30 minutes for a quick break to drink some hot carbohydrates and eat some porridge, or his favorite when he's in the States, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. With the completion of yesterday's swim, Kennedy says that the 42-year-old Curley has completed his 10th segment of the challenge, at least 4 segments ahead of his closest rival now, American Andrew Packer. Well, some recent showers and cloudy skies on the North Olympic Peninsula may have helped green things up slightly. State officials say Washington's drought is far from over. The Department of Ecology has expanded its drought emergency map, and Clallam County is now included. Much of central Washington, Puget Sound, and several other northwest counties are also under emergency status. That status allows faster state assistance for farmers, utilities, and communities that are facing shortages. Stream flows have been below normal since spring, and across Washington, precipitation was only 85% of normal this water year, making it one of the driest spring and summer seasons on record. Officials say even with more rain, parched soils soak it up before it can reach rivers and aquifers. A very wet fall and possible La Nina winter could help, but experts warn it will take a sustained cold and very wet season to ease the drought. More news after this.
Thrill Seekers, your final summer action-packed blowout is happening this weekend. Get your tickets now for the sprint boat races at the Extreme Sports Park on Saturday and Sunday. Witness the jaw-dropping explosion of power as these boats navigate through wild twists and turns. The pre-race skydivers will kick off the action. The 2025 American Sprint Boat Racing season finale this Saturday and Sunday. Tickets on sale now at extremesportspark.net.
School buses are back on the roads, transporting our future leaders. Maintain a safe distance when they stop for pickups or drop-offs. Flashing red lights and extended stop arms mean kids are entering or leaving the bus. Let's create a shield of safety around them. Be patient, be vigilant, and help ensure a smooth and secure journey for all. Our commitment to caution protects precious lives. This message brought to you by all of us at Radio Pacific.
This message is brought to you by the law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, Port Angeles and Sequim.
Hi, I'm Clallam County Sheriff Brian King. As kids return to school, they may not always be mindful of safety while walking or waiting for buses. It's our responsibility to watch out for them. Stay alert for the pedestrians, yield at crosswalks, slow down in school zones, and give buses ample space. Let's ensure a safe back-to-school season together.
The law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, protecting you and your family since 1985.
In other news, when 5 women step out onto the football field this Friday at Civic Field in Port Angeles, they'll do something that's never been done in Washington state history. Those 5 women will be the first ever all-female officiating crew for a boys' varsity football game in Washington. The women part of the North Olympic Football Officials Association, which recruits, trains, and provides the officials you see at high school games from Quilcene to Neah Bay. The president of the organization is Dave Farrington. We asked him how this historic game came to be, and he said, well, first you'd have to start with Kayla Olin.
We've had one official, Kayla Olin, who's going to be the referee that night. She's been with us since she got out of high school back in somewhere in 2016, maybe. She is currently a college official. She was the first woman to ever work a high school state championship game in the state of Washington. And she's also the first girl to ever be the head referee. And that happened last year.
The 5 women, all from the Olympic Peninsula. The crew will be led by the referee there, Olin, from Port Townsend. The umpire will be Molly Mahan of Port Angeles. The head linesman, Rainey Senior of Clallam Bay. Maggie Wright from Port Angeles will handle line judge duties. And the back judge, Shayla Wood of Sequim. Farrington says that since Olin came on board, the organization's had a lot of success recruiting young women, so much that out of the 25 or so total crew of officials, 40% are now women. By the way, we'll bring you that Rough Rider versus Mount Baker game live here on Friday with your host, Ole Archibald, starting at 5 o'clock here on KONP. Thousands of Washington State community and community college employees are voting on a revised contract that could restore a 3% raise they missed back in July. About 5,300 members of the Washington Public Employees Association were left out of the increase after failing to ratify their contract in time for the state budget. The new deal would provide that raise retroactively along with a 2% boost next July, voting running through September 14th. This is Newsradio KONP.
It's time for Your Port of PA Today. A look inside the port and share what's in it for you.
I'm Port Commissioner Connie Bove. The Port of Port Angeles is excited to bring you a look inside your port, the wide-ranging companies operating in our facilities, and share exciting upcoming projects designed to develop and upgrade infrastructure to attract even more business and jobs to our area. Did you know over 50 companies are on port property, totaling over 1,000 jobs? The Port of PA stretches well beyond the Port Angeles Harbor. The port owns and operates 2 airports, William R. Fairchild International and the CQ Airport, providing convenient and essential access to some of the more remote areas of the peninsula. We'll continue to bring you insights from the Port of PA on future segments. Email hello@portofpa.com or keep up to date on Facebook.
This has been your Port of PA Today. Explore portofpa.com.
Get more out of every job with Bobcat equipment from Brim and Carlsberg. From grading and digging to loading and hauling, Bobcat loaders are built to help you do more with unbeatable control and comfort. Right now, get financing as low as 0% APR or choose cash rebates up to $9,000 on select compact track loader models. Visit Brim and Carlsberg today to take advantage of these limited time offers. Some restrictions apply, length of contract and rate may vary. Offer ends August 31st, 2025.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 72. Northwesterly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows dip down to about 58 tonight, partly cloudy skies. Daytime highs approaching 74 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 72 Friday, under partly cloudy skies. 69 Saturday, slight chance for showers. Take a look at the extended forecast. 66 Sunday, 65 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Currently, it's 66 degrees.
Mariners 3:30 this afternoon here on KONP, brought to you by Leeds Farm Supply and Equipment Sales. Now with the rest of the sports, here's Robert Workman.
Baseball Tuesday, Ketel Marte broke open a tie game with a 3-run blast in the 7th as the Diamondbacks took down the Rangers 5-3. That ends a 6-game winning streak for Texas. Rays shaded the Mariners 6-5 for their 5th straight win. Junior Caminero hit his 40th homer of the season. Pirates down the Dodgers 9-7, but as is often the case, it was Shohei Ohtani making the headline, hitting his 100th Dodger dinger. He only got there last year. That's faster than anyone in franchise history. And did I say fast? It had an exit velocity of 120 miles per hour. Mets tamed the Tigers 12-5. Pete Alonso homered in the 1st. Then he and Juan Soto went back-to-back in the 7th.
We're doing a really good job of capitalizing on pitches in the zone. I think we're recognizing the hanging breaking balls really well. I think we're doing damage on heaters.
George Springer went 3 for 4 with 2 taters as the Blue Jays overpowered the Reds. Yankees kicked some Astros. Trent Grisham with his 2nd grand slam in 5 days. Jazz Chisholm Jr. went deep twice. White Sox walloped the Twins, 2 round trippers and 5 ribbies for Andrew Benintendi. Cubs, Nationals, Red Sox, Giants, Cardinals, Orioles, and Angels were winners. College football, defending national champion Ohio State back on top of the polls after knocking off the preseason favorite Texas. At the U.S. Open, number 1 Arena Sabalenka got a walkover into the semifinals. She'll meet American 4-seed Jessica Pegula tomorrow. Friday's men's semis will feature number 2 Carlos Alcaraz and Novak Djokovic, who knocked out U.S. 4-seed Taylor Fritz last night. That's Wednesday Sports.
In classrooms across the country, chronic absenteeism is on the rise.
Sophia A., grade 4, absent.
Julio M., grade 6, absent.
Aisha S., grade 12, absent.
These absences are often due to the absence of crucial needs, like transportation, healthcare, a working computer, mental health support. The list goes on.
Olivia H., absent.
Preston L., absent.
Chloe B., absent.
The reasons why they're absent are very real, and yet the solution is someone present to help them along their path. When site coordinators from communities and schools are on hand, they connect kids to the resources they need. And when they do, 99% of students are present and remain in school throughout the year.
Jacob O., grade 10,
present. Communities and Schools works directly with students, helping them overcome obstacles to succeed in school and in life. Learn more at communitiesandschools.org. Being present matters.
Today, Port Angeles Public Works Director Scott Curtin on the Stage 2 water conservation and local water testing. Then Don Corson of Camaraderie Cellars joins us with some wine pairing tips. And later, actor Tim Daly of Wings and the Creative Coalition talks about protecting the National Endowment for the Arts.
Join us at 1 o'clock Monday through Thursday for the Todd Ortloff Show on KONP. Information to keep you engaged in your community with the people and organizations who keep it running. Sponsored by Dan Shappy, Farmers Insurance.
Hi everyone, it's Leslie Robertson from the Port Angeles Chamber, and I want to tell you about a great opportunity to support our local area. Would you like to meet people from all over the world? Do you like the chance to brag about this beautiful place we live? The Port Angeles Visitor Center is looking for volunteers to help people seeking advice, information, and recommendations when they come to visit our delightful town. Visitor Center shifts are short, the schedule is easy, and very flexible. Whether you want a regular day or you'd like to fill in as needed, we will make it work for you. Knowledge about the area is a plus, but don't worry, we'll train you. It's a great chance to meet new people, make new friends, and get to know the great group of volunteers we already have working at the Visitor Center. You'll be glad you did. If you're interested, email info@portangeles.org or call the Visitor Center at 360-452-2363. Or you can find more information on our website, portangeles.org.
Rolls to the right, throws back in the middle, intercepted! And it's Rick Woolen!
12s, the wait is over. The Seahawks kick off the 2025 regular season against the San Francisco 49ers at Lumen Field. Join Steve Rabel and Dave Wyman this Sunday, pregame at noon, kickoff at 1:05, right here on the Seahawks Radio Network.
And a handoff to Walker, he goes left side, and he's going to get in! Touchdown, Seahawks! Great drive by the Hawks!
Newsradio KONP Business.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Holiday spending in the U.S. is expected to decline this year, largely due to Gen Z's worries about rising prices, tariffs, and a higher cost of living. That's according to a survey by PricewaterhouseCoopers that found most consumers expect to cut their seasonal spending by about 5% on average. That would mark the first notable drop since the pandemic hit in 2020. Macy's CEO Tony Spring, who took over last year, tells Bloomberg he expects strong holiday spending this year, basing that on Macy's robust back-to-school season that's often viewed as a bellwether for the holidays. Redfin says the ranks of American homeowners are dwindling. That's based on the year-over-year look for the second quarter that showed a 0.1% drop, the first decline since 2016. By comparison, the number of renter households rose 2.6%, one of the largest increases in years. The Dow is down 0.5%, the Nasdaq up 0.6, the S&P is up 0.1%. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Hey, let's get a last check of the noontime traffic next.
Dr. Sam Skovgaard here, General Surgeon at Olympic Medical Center. If you've noticed a bulge beneath your skin, on your abdomen or groin, it could be a hernia. And if it's causing you pain, it's time to talk to your doctor. If your hernia requires surgery, your general surgery team at OMC is here to help. Talk to your primary care provider if you think you may need treatment for a hernia. Let's keep you healthy and hernia-free together. Learn more at olympicmedical.org/hernia.
Guess what's cooking at Leeds Farm Supply? Propane, and lots of it. And at just $2.49 a gallon, it's a hot deal. Got cylinders? Leeds does. From 20 pounds to 100 pounds, and soon from 1 pound to a massive 420-pound capacity. Refillable, exchangeable, whatever you need. So whether you're grilling or heating, swing by Leeds, where propane and low prices are always in stock. Leeds Farm Supply, fueling your next big thing.
Newsradio KONP, traffic and roads.
Right, last check of the noontime road and traffic conditions. We head to Clallam Transit Dispatch Center. That's where Steve's standing by with an eye on things for us. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hi there. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, kind of a busy afternoon out there if you're trying to make your way through the Port Angeles or the swim area right now. Steady all the way across the Port Angeles area down Front and First Street. Just a lot of traffic right through there. Also, most of the other main streets here in town, 8th Street, Lincoln, just plan on some little bit of slow going out there. Squim's the same way along Washington Street, Squim Avenue, 5th Avenue, those areas. It's moving along, but a little slow in places, so just be prepared for that. If you're on the highway between the two cities, it's busy out there as well, but moving along much better. We're pretty much the speed limit all the way between Port Angeles and Squim. If you're headed out any further, Hood Canal Bridge good to go with no scheduled marine openings, and state ferries are running on time today. If you're headed out to the west end, 101, we're in pretty good shape all the way out to the Forks area. Milepost 227 at Lake Crescent, there is a tree down. It's just over the fog line. People are going to have to kind of move out of the way to get around it, so be very careful out there. So everybody take care, be safe. This is Steve reporting live from Clown Transit for KONP.
Thank you, Steve. Look for about 78 for your high this afternoon with sunshine, partly cloudy, mid-50s to low 60s overnight for the lows tonight. And sunshine again tomorrow with highs in the mid-70s to lower 80s. Currently, it is 69 in Port Townsend, 69 in Sequim, 68 out at Fairchild Airport here in Port Angeles. Well, the woman who allegedly sold the fatal doses of the drug ketamine to Friends actor Matthew Perry officially telling a judge today she committed the crime. ABC's Alex Stone has more from Los Angeles.
Jasveen Sangha is the last of the 5 defendants to plead guilty, admitting to her role in the death of Matthew Perry and another man who died of an overdose, allegedly from taking her drugs in 2019. Today, she's set to go before a federal judge to officially change her plea. Sangha, known as a ketamine queen, agreeing to plead guilty to several counts, including distributing ketamine. She could get up to 45 years in federal prison when she's sentenced. Prosecutors say she also tried to destroy evidence after Perry's death. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, a common ingredient found in some gel nail polishes coming under fire as they're banned in the EU. That's triggering some questions on their safety here in the U.S. ABC's Morgan Norwood with the story.
TPO causes the polish to harden and gives nails that glossy shine when exposed to UV light, a process known as curing. The Professional Beauty Association telling ABC News this is a regulatory restriction on a single ingredient, not a ban on an entire product category, and that TPO typically represents just 1 to 3% of a cured gel system.
Last year, a federal judge ruled Google operated a monopoly in the market for online searches. Today, that same judge has decided what the remedies to that monopoly should be. Here's ABC's Mike Dubusky.
Despite what the Justice Department had been arguing for, Google will not have to sell off major products like the Chrome web browser to fix its monopoly. Judge Amit Mehta says the company will instead have to share some of the data it collects on searches with qualified competitors. Google will also face limits on how much money it spends on exclusive agreements with other tech companies, like the $20 billion it pays Apple annually to be the default search engine in Safari.
A curious thing happened on Friday as the Labor Day weekend got underway. False rumors began circulating after President Trump had not held any sort of news conference for 3 days. By Saturday, hashtags such as "Where is Trump?" and "Trump is dead" began trending across most social media platforms, which of course caused the rumors to spread even faster. I'm Kim Commando for NetSuite. Download the free CFO's Guide to Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning right now at netsuite.com/Kim. By late Saturday morning, the president was seen leaving the White House, headed off to play golf in Virginia. Social media has never been a reliable place for news. Here's a perfect example. But why did the rumor gain such traction when real news has never been more available? We've entered a cycle of news avoidance. 40% of us have stopped listening to it, watching it, or reading it. And so a rumor like this pops up, the public is apt to fall for it every time. Start your day with my free newsletter so you're always tech ahead. Sign up at getkim.com. What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 answers. Rates rising or falling, inflation being up or down. Can someone please invent a crystal ball? Until then, over 42,000 businesses have future-proofed their business with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud ERP, bringing accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR into one fluid platform. With one unified business management suite, there's one source of truth, giving you the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. With real-time insights and forecasting, you're peering into the future with actionable data. When you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you're spending less time looking backward and more time on what's next. And speaking of opportunity, you can now download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Kim. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/Kim, netsuite.com/Kim.
We now know trip and fall accidents are the leading cause of injury-related death among those aged 75 and older. So in a moment, I'm going to share advice to help make trip and fall accidents less likely at any age. Next, in today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto.
at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
Have you taken time to train your postural muscles today? Those are the deep muscles in your abdomen, pelvis, and back, which help you maintain a good posture. And according to George Locker, author of the new book, Falling is Not an Option, postural muscles are also the key to preventing most trip and fall accidents at any age. So how exactly do we strengthen those important core postural muscles? Locker recommends just standing in a semi-squat with your knees and ankles slightly bent, as if you're trying to balance on a surfboard or skis. He says do this whenever you've brushed your teeth, for example, and hold the pose as long as possible. And the more you do it, the more likely you'll be able to stand stable on just about any surface, including uneven rocks or ice. I'm John Tesh with today's Intelligence for Your Life Minute.
Did you know you can find that unique gift for your special someone of all ages in our gift department? We carry gift lines from local vendors as well as unique gifts from vendors not found on the peninsula. Specialty foods, sauces, and chocolates are also available for your shopping needs. Don't forget our customer service associates will wrap your gift for free. We have fun ideas for all ages. Jim's Pharmacy, open 7 days a week behind the Port Angeles Post Office.
Get in on the heart-stopping action this weekend during the 2025 Steel American Sprint Boat Racing Season Finale. It all goes down Saturday and Sunday at the Extreme Sports Park. Camp with us for one or even both nights. Meet the drivers and see these beautiful boats up close at the Show and Shine on Friday from 4 until 6 at the Lower Elwha Food and Fuel. Don't miss out on the final races of the season. Get your tickets now at extremesportspark.net.
From the Strait to the Sound, Newsradio KONP, Port Angeles Squim, is celebrating 80 years serving our community. A Radio Pacific station.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Florida looks to soon become the first state to end all vaccine mandates, announced by the state Surgeon General, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, alongside Governor Ron DeSantis.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
Mandates set to end, including those for school kids for shots against measles, polio, hepatitis B, chickenpox, and tetanus. Statement from American Academy of Pediatrics President Dr. Susan Cressley says she's concerned because when everyone in school is vaccinated, it's harder for diseases to spread and easier to keep the fun and learning going. She says when children are sick and miss school, parents also miss work. Governors of California, Oregon, and Washington say they're forming the West Coast Health Alliance to offer unified, consistent vaccine recommendations based on science, unlike, they say, the federal government. Spokesperson for the Federal Health and Human Services Department accuses those states of having imposed failed mandates during the COVID pandemic. Calling for full public release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, alleged victims and others at Washington rallies today.
With Republican Congressman Thomas Massie pushing to force a vote to release files related to the Jeffrey Epstein case, President Trump dismissed questions on the topic, calling the issue a, quote, Democrat hoax and, quote, totally irrelevant.
We're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
But at the same time the president was calling it a Democrat hoax, Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a strong supporter of the president, was standing with Epstein survivors on Capitol Hill calling for greater transparency. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
The Dollar Tree retail chain says price increases started the past few months and will continue. It says it also plans to roll out more products that cost $3 to $5. You're listening to ABC News.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well,
I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
In a defeat for Republicans, the House voted to kill a Republican plan to censure and remove Democratic Congresswoman LaMonica McIver from the Homeland Security Committee over federal charges for her visit to a New Jersey immigration detention center. 7 Republicans voted against it. In retaliation, New York Congresswoman Yvette Clarke introduced a resolution to censure Florida Republican Corey Mills, being investigated by the Ethics Committee on whether he may have omitted or misrepresented information in financial disclosure reports. The last of the 5 defendants to plead guilty in the ketamine overdose death of Matthew Perry has done so in Los Angeles today. Josephine Sanga, who allegedly provided the fatal dose to an intermediary and then to Perry's assistant. Sanga also admitting to supplying drugs to another man who died of an overdose. She could get up to 45 years in prison. A federal judge set the terms for what Google needs to do in order to shave off its monopoly it has on the internet. It has to share some user data with competitors. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
The court had already decided in what was a landmark antitrust case last year that Google was a monopoly in search, that it monopolized the search engine. Basically, 90% of searches are through Google, and searching online is basically synonymous with Googling it. It has its own word, but the strictest penalties that Google could have faced under this court's decision, it did not face, and that's why you're seeing this positive reaction today.
Our Elizabeth Schulze, Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Let's hear it for our crosswalk heroes. School's back, and so are our fearless crossing guards. They're the traffic-taming, kid-protecting legends of the crosswalks. When you see those neon vests and stop signs, slow down and give them a thumbs up. They're keeping our littlest scholars safe. Kids, remember to follow their lead and cross like champs. Let's make crossing the street the coolest part of the school day. This message brought to you by all of us at Radio Pacific.
Fair weather turns our thoughts to outdoor projects. Hi, this is Clallam PUD, and we want you to be safe so you can enjoy the results of your hard work. It's easy. Call 811 2 business days before any work involving digging so underground utilities can be properly located and marked. Visit ClallamPUD.net for more safety tips about outdoor projects and more. Clallam County PUD, bringing energy to life.
KONP News brought to you by RE/MAX Evergreen Real Estate. Outstanding agents, outstanding results. 457-6600. Irish endurance swimmer John Curley has added the Strait of Juan de Fuca to his list of swimming accomplishments. Curley began at Twin Rivers Beach in Clallam County yesterday morning and reached Harrison Point, British Columbia, swimming it in 8 hours, 13 minutes yesterday. The 42-year-old is now 10 swims into the global toughest 13 challenge, at least 4 segments ahead of his nearest rival at last look. New study found nearly half of Washington's bee colonies have vanished. Although the state fared better than most, nationally, more than half of U.S. hives have collapsed, raising concerns for pollination and food supplies in Washington, about 43%.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by Olympic Game Farm. Mainly sunny skies this afternoon, with daytime highs approaching 72. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight, lows level off around 58. Daytime highs approaching 74 tomorrow. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times Friday, with daytime highs approaching 72. 69, slight chance of rain showers Saturday. Take a look at the extended forecast. 66 Sunday, 65 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 73.
It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
And welcome once again to the program. Lots to cover today. The first segment, we are going to be talking with Scott Curtin. He is the Public Works and Utilities Director for the City of Port Angeles, and it's been about a year, because the last time we talked to Scott, he had just gotten on board with the city in this position. So I guess it's maybe a little more than a year, but good to have you back.
Yeah, it's right there. It's hard to believe. It's a quick year, September last year.
And I can say you've had a year, because there's been some things that have happened through, certainly, that have made some news involving your department as well, and a lot of that is what we're going to talk about today, and that's water. I think that's what we'll start with a bit. Right now we're in a stage 2 declaration, correct, for water. So maybe you can explain to folks what that means right now in the drought or in the water emergency plan that the city has.
Yeah, great. No, I appreciate you having me today. We went into a stage 2 water shortage notification on August 22nd, I believe. And it's pretty consistent with where we typically are at this time of year. So the city, we draw our water from the Elwha River. We have what's called a rainy well. So we are very dependent on the river flows for what we have available for city water, and we monitor those closely. This time of year, we're monitoring daily, in fact, of what those flows are. So, yeah, on August 22nd, we triggered, we reached levels that triggered the stage 2 notice, and we are tracking right now, and I'm guessing we're a week to 2 out from entering a stage 3 if everything remains on track. If we get some rain, it might change that by a few days, but that's what it's looking like now.
So, of course, the big question for folks is what does a stage 2, take us through 1 and 2 and the difference is there, because there's some nuance to that, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Great question. Yeah, stage 1 is, it doesn't go out to the public. That's just getting my staff notified that we're about, it's that time of year, and we start getting prepped for putting out press releases, notifications, and just our own internal operations. Stage 2 is voluntary, so we put it out there to let folks know the river is dropping, and we're this time of year we're monitoring that. It's a voluntary request to conserve water. Once we enter stage 3, that means water is reaching more critical levels, and we actually put some mandatory restrictions in, which that'll come into odds and even days of watering, things like that. And that's pretty consistent with what we've done over the last few years, and I would expect that's what we're going to have again this year. I don't see it getting more drastic than that this year based on what we're seeing, but I think it's going to be consistent with what we've expected in years past.
All right. Yeah, I was going to say, I think especially since the dams came out, this has been kind of the way it's run for the last decade or so almost. We usually sit here and talk about the same thing every year about this time as well. So for right now, folks, you're asking them voluntarily, cut back on outdoor watering if you can, that sort of thing, correct?
Yep, absolutely.
And also, I think a lot of folks discover they may have leaky pipes when you start looking at this. They don't, when most people go, oh, I hadn't checked that.
Yep. Running toilets, anything like that. It's always a good time to pay attention to your water bill. If you notice a spike in that's generally telling you you've got something wrong on your side of the meter. But if you notice other things, here recently we noticed Wendy's as example in town, their parking lot and their drive-through. They had some infrastructure that was leaking, and they've been making repairs on that this summer. So it's always good to put your eyes out. If you see water running down the street during a dry time of the year, it's a good time to make a phone call and let me know right away. We have folks that are out watching for that, but it's always good to know if you notice something to reach out and ask.
All right, so let's talk a bit bigger picture, because certainly the other thing that happened with water had to do with that tanker spill, right? And I think that raised a lot of awareness about, I'll call it the delicacy, the delicateness. Didn't take much for us to be affected by an issue with the river.
No, absolutely. That was far more excitement than we needed for July. I can absolutely assure you of that.
So take us through kind of from the city's perspective of what happened there. We reported this as best we could on the news. We, obviously you had shut down. Explain to people kind of what happened with that. It wasn't so much that the city didn't have water it could get. It was it going to be usable water?
Right. So that spill happened on a Friday. I believe it was July 18th, from what I recall. We got word of it right away, and we shut down operations. Now, we call it making water because we run it through our treatment plant. And we don't do that 24 hours a day. We generally do it during normal business working hours, and it's intended to refill our reservoirs. So it only happens during normal working hours. And at that time, we immediately shut down because we weren't sure the extent of what had happened. And we actually remained shut down. It ended up being for 44 hours, something like that. And it went all the way through until that Sunday evening. And that was really just to allow time for agencies, for the state, for the Department of Ecology, Department of Health, folks to respond, to get boots on the ground and really understand what we were dealing with, the risks and the impacts and things like that. So we were kind of just stepping back and letting everyone kind of get engaged and figured out. But on Sunday, as it appeared that this was going to drag out longer, that's really when it started to get, because I was going to have to go back to making water. Our reservoirs were going to reach critical levels. And ultimately, that's what we ended up doing. We ended up going back to making that water, but I didn't have sufficient test results back to prove that it was safe for drinking at that time.
So there was I'll call it a lag, I guess, in time for you to get that test result back. And what you as the deciding official was like, so are we going to have enough pressure in the system if we continued on this way? Correct?
Absolutely.
I mean,
yes. So we were working hand in hand with multiple agencies, Department of Ecology, Department of Health. We had all resources, boots on the ground, kind of coordinating that with multiple testing agencies and things like that. And we were just not getting those test results back fast enough to allow us to do that. It would have been a much more significant event if we didn't start making water at that time, because the pressures would have dropped. So, for example, when we went back to making water, I would have had to put the entire city on a boil notice, because we could have had impacts of pressures dropping low enough to let other contaminants into the water lines, and we would have had to take numerous bacteria tests throughout various parts of the city. It just would have been a much more substantial disaster, and it would have taken much longer for me to lift that drinking restriction off of the water. So that's why that decision was made, and it was made in hand with those other agencies. This isn't something that we just decided on our own. This we had multiple agencies all understanding what we were about to do, and we got clearance to do what we did.
One of the things that might have been helpful for those who live in the PUD has a composite system that they get some of their water from you, but they also can get it from some other sources. And I know going back to that Friday when the original cutoff happened, I believe the PUD shut off their take from you you could preserve some for the city, and they said we can get it from another spot for now. And that may have been helpful, because had that not happened, you would have had bigger issues outside of the city of Port Angeles.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
And it would have our reservoirs would have dropped faster, because we would have been moving more water out of the city. So.
So some people look at that and they go, wow, there's not a lot of capacity in the reservoirs. Is that true or not, or is that just the timing of how this all happened?
So it's a great question, and it's very interesting. There's a lot of dynamics involved, because we are on a hillside. So it's not to say that the entire town would have lost water, but our highest elevation reservoirs, which also feed our lower elevation reservoirs. So when we're not able to fill that upper one, that water pressure at our higher elevations would have dropped first, and made its way down to lower, down to sea level, lower parts of town. So it wouldn't have taken the entire town out necessarily at first, but it would have happened very quickly. And to be honest with you, we were in territory we had never been before. We had never been shut down for maintenance or anything else that duration of time. So we were really in uncharted territory. We didn't know how long. We were literally monitoring this like by the minute with staff and paying attention to make that decision. So when it came time to do that, we were all hands were on deck, and it was time to go.
And you probably, if you look at the timing of the announcements going out, the seriousness of that, it was early on a Sunday morning. It was like, we've got to get the word out now.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. So that leads to the next question I think people have is like alternate sources of water for the city. This has been something that the city's been kind of grappling with for some time. This is a good example. You have a great source, but sometimes maybe you need another one.
Yes, yeah, and it has been talked about for years. We've got some studies. The most recent one goes back to 2018, looking at our water system in general, and there was looking at wells. In our challenge, it's not to say that we can't do that, but we have one centralized water treatment plant. So if we punch multiple wells, because you generally don't have one, you generally have a field of wells. You just can't draw that much water out of one. So you'd have to have several, but we'd have to get that water ultimately down to the water treatment plant. It's not practical to say we're going to go build 3, 4, 5 water treatment plants. Right. Yeah. They're tens of millions of dollars, and we've got what we've got, and we're blessed to have that. It's a phenomenal facility, but we certainly don't want 2, 3, 4 of those, right? So ultimately, whatever water we get, we have to get to the treatment plant to be able to deliver it to the town.
Next question then, more storage. Is that something that maybe that's a more feasible approach at some point?
Storage is, and absolutely, and that's likely going to be the more immediate concern. That certainly would have helped in this particular situation, right? So 12 more hours of storage would have made the difference of the city not having to stage 500,000 bottles of drinking water to the community, and all the logistics and resources that went into that. So.
Do you have places where you could build more reservoirs too? I'm assuming this is a piece of infrastructure you can't just say, here, let's build it. They have to be in the right places.
They have to be in the right places, yes, and it is. There's a lot of dynamics involved, right? So you have elevations and how those feed other reservoirs and things like that. So yes, I mean, some it might be as simple as either replacing one with a larger one or adding a second.
At a site,
it'll likely vary. So,
and does the city have enough water right that it can fill more reservoirs too? Is that how does that play in?
So we do, and off the top of my head, I don't recall what they are. But we have.
So that's
we
not
have
an
access.
issue.
It's not.
Right.
It's not an issue at all. We have access to far more than we need.
Okay. Let's talk a bit about the response in that you referenced, these 500,000 bottles of water that had to go out. I mean, it was quite a quick and, as frustrating as that was for a lot of people, I think hats off. You guys did a pretty good job for quickly trying to respond to this thing get water to people.
Yeah, no, I greatly appreciate that. First, I would say prior to that, we found out we live in a community where the folks actually do listen. We never would have made it as long as we did if folks weren't conserving their water. So we put the word out and folks listened, which was greatly appreciated.
And I should go back to that because on Friday when you did the, hey, we're not going to fill these reservoirs, right. You got the word out to say, hey, cut back because...
Yes. And they did. People did. And we can notice it. We monitor that and we saw a significant, that really helped buy us the time that we needed to get to where we were. But yes, it was an impressive level of logistics from the number of folks at the city, all departments assisting, staging. I mean, it was.
Do you have this in a plan book to start with? I mean,
so ironically, we do actually practice and test for different emergency. And to our fire chief's credit, Daryl Sharp, he puts on, honestly, I would say some of the best training that I've ever had in my career. They do a really, really good job. And I'll give you an example. We'll sit in a room. They've even got noise playing in the background because you're on the phone. There's a lot going on, and we actually do that. We've done some training sessions for tsunami response, as example. And others, various disasters, and we do practice, and we do those on about a quarterly basis.
So that was helpful in some ways. Although I don't know, has there been? We're going to try to find cases and cases of bottles of water.
No, that was unique. But we did. We had multiple people doing that. We did do a lessons learned afterwards to kind of talk through what went well and what could have gone better. But we had. I mean, and again, it's not just, it's everyone, right? It's Safeway, it's Walmart, it's Costco, it's all these folks that stood up and helped do that, right? It's not, you can't just walk down your average store and pick up 500,000 bottles of water and then have them there ready to go. It was the police officers staging, for cars to come and go. Mm-hmm. I mean, ironically, our biggest challenge during passing out that water was having essentially a forklift able to go to the different sites to offload the pallets to place them.
Sure.
Because we were doing it at multiple locations and I didn't have multiple, forklifts. So that was actually more the limiting factor than it was getting water sourced from our vendors. It was crazy. We just never thought of that, but that we found out quickly that's what it was.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Well, let's not do that again, but I'm glad you're learning lessons from that, right?
We learned a lot.
It's
more excitement than we needed for a summer weekend.
Summer. Right after that, and we'll wrap it up on this one, you also then had a planned conservation effort because you had to make a fix to your reservoir. You had a valve thing that was coming. This was announced weeks before all of this happened as well.
So we had the Jones Street Reservoir project. Yep, that was in our CFP plan, and another one that was good to get. So that had to do. We talked about the reservoirs and the elevations. So that particular valve helped us control the pressure in that tank. So without that, getting that project done is a huge lift because it helped stabilize that area and gave us back the control that we need for that zone.
So that's a good long-term fix, from what I understand.
Yes.
That was something that, you didn't want to fail.
Correct.
That's the wrong time when you can control the replacement on your own terms, certainly. Scott's, interesting summer to say the least. Anything heading into the fall that your department's got planned?
So we are winding down some capital projects. 8th Street got done this summer, which is a huge one. It's a nice lift, and I appreciate everyone's patience for that. I know that wasn't easy with we've got obviously the state doing their work, and we have ours. We also have the county doing some other works by the airport. So I can well appreciate the frustration with getting through town on that. But all in all, folks, we greatly appreciate your patience, and we're glad to have those projects done. We recently chip sealed Lauritsen Boulevard. We still have a little bit of work to do on L Street, which will be taking place later this month. We've got Marine Drive going down towards the Hook. We've got about a half mile of pavement that's actively being worked on down there as we speak, and we're expecting that to be done sometime later this month as well. So,
all right,
lots going on.
I'll just plant the one seed. We get into winter, and this is where you start worrying about breaking of water mains and such. You've gone through this little dance where we've had a few, I'll call them sinkholes, but that's really a misnomer in some ways. But the city does have infrastructure issues it's having to deal with.
We do. And it's very common with cities of our age. We've got pipes in the ground of all ages, to be honest with you, up to, and some as old as 100 years old. But we do have a very robust capital facilities plan that does seek to address those. We chase and pursue funding to be able to do those. There's always more we can do, but we do genuinely try to address the most highest priority needs first, which is kind of why you'll see some projects in the fund and some are listed but they're not yet funded. It's just putting it out there that we're aware of it and pursuing funding. So plenty of work to do on that. That is kind of a passion of mine, the water and sewer side of things, and some additional SCADA improvements and things of that nature that also focus on efficiency of operations within the city. So good things to come.
All right. Well, let's hope in this coming year you can have some mundane things to take care of, right?
We like it, as do most of you. We all like it when public works is more of a boring thing. We're not on the news, so I appreciate to be there as well.
Well, we got to get you back. We'll talk about West Side stormwater and sewer projects and things like that, because that's I know happening as well. But I won't wait a year. But hopefully we won't be talking to you about things like water shortages and such.
No, glad to come back anytime.
All right. That's Scott Curtin. He is the Public Works and Utilities Director for the City of Port Angeles. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
Bathfitter is celebrating 42,000 installations in Western Washington by offering you monthly payments as low as $125 a month.
Hooray!
Custom fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day, and every installation is backed by a lifetime warranty. Choose Bathfitter Northwest because they work here, they live here, and they love making bathrooms better for their neighbors. Visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. This offer won't last long.
Hello,
This is Katie McCormick with Squim Valley and Harper Ridgeview Funeral Chapels. I'd like to take a moment to tell you about a new, exciting, and environmentally friendly development in the funeral industry. It's called natural organic reduction, or terramation. Perhaps you've heard of it. Terramation is a process in which the body, after death, is returned to the earth in a carbon-neutral, eco-friendly manner. The process takes place in a controlled environment, and all that remains is a natural, odorless, compost-like material. If you would like more information about terramation and advanced planning, call us today at Harper Ridgeview in Port Angeles or Squim Valley Chapel in Squim, and one of our knowledgeable and caring funeral professionals will assist you in answering your questions. Harper Ridgeview and Squim Valley Funeral Chapels, because your loved ones deserve the best.
Time keeps rolling along, and September is the month we roll out of summer and into fall. This is Dale from Wilder Auto, and this month is a great time to get your car serviced for the months ahead. We offer competitive prices on all of our service options, and the Wilder Advantage includes a staff of factory-trained technicians, free safety inspection with any service, and free car wash. We'd love to keep you rolling, so give us a call to schedule your next service visit or schedule online 24/7 at wilderauto.com.
When purchasing a home or land, nobody wants to inherit existing debts or legal issues that could interfere with their property rights in the future. That's why it's important to work with a local title insurance professional and protect your property rights with Owner's Title Insurance. Olympic Peninsula Title has been protecting the property rights of Clallam County customers for over 40 years. Put our team of professionals to work for you. For title insurance and escrow services, opt for Olympic Peninsula Title.
Hi, it's Alicia with Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative, where we're more than a workplace, we're a family. We're worker-owned, worker-ran, and worker-profited, and proud to be named Emerging Business of the Year by our community. If you're a caregiver looking for a place where you're valued, or a family seeking care you can trust, you belong with us. Join our team, or let us care for your loved one. Visit ridgeline.coop, that's ridgeline.coop, Ridgeline Home Care Cooperative. Owned by caregivers, trusted by families.
You call one company, no answer. Another promises a quote, but never follows through. And when you finally get somebody, they show up late and their quality is suspect. Does this sound familiar? At Hartnagel Glassworks, we've heard how frustrating it is to find skilled, reliable help. That's why our employee-owned team shows up on time, does the job right, and treats your home with the care it deserves. You know us for window repair and installation, but our expertise goes far beyond that. We also install shower doors and enclosures, glass and cable railings, solar tubes and skylights, and we even sell and install exterior doors. Our customers trust us, and it shows. We have a 100% 5-star rating on Google. So when you're ready for reliable service from a team that shows up and gets it right, call Hartnagel Glassworks. Visit hbsglassworks.com, that's hbsglassworks.com for more info. And as always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
Welcome back to the show. In our next segment, we're going to talk about wine, something that we do, well, we used to do a lot. It's been a while since I've had Don Corson come in to talk about wine.
It's always a good thing, isn't it?
It is, so it's great to have you back.
Thank you very much.
Yanked him in from what is a busy time of year in his winery.
Lord, it is.
But we're going to talk about, I ran into him. We're doing a thing at his place at Camaraderie Cellars earlier this summer, and he said, we should do a show about, well, value. I'll just leave it at that. Value. It may not be all in the price tag.
That's exactly right. And, just dovetailing from what you were just talking about conserving water, I can help you do that by just enjoying a little bit more wine.
Right.
Not in excess, but, that's, save water, drink wine.
Yeah, I like that.
You've seen that bumper
I've
sticker.
seen that before. I think they're all over your cars. Anyway, Don, it's good to have you here. So
thank you.
Let's talk a bit about, I love you provided me some notes, and it says great value versus just cheap. And I think that's a perfect way to just launch from. So I'm going to say that and have you kind of set this up for us.
Yeah. Why would a winemaker also be interested in other wines? And the answer is that it would be sort of like a chef that only eats his own food. And you want to be able to see what's out in the marketplace. You can learn some things from other wineries. we're really interested in seeing what else is out there around the world. And so you can spend a lot of money doing that, but also you can be very, very shrewd and budget conscious by looking at great places that we maybe wouldn't even admit that we've looked at, meaning the cart at the Safeway. I'm going to mention Safeway. It's one of our markets that is full of wines that maybe you've never heard of, or going to one of our I'll call them without naming places, second tier grocery places, and we have one, a very, very good one here in Port Angeles, and there may be one in Sequim, I don't know, but there are stacks of wine there that I sort of moseyed into and started taking a look and found some extraordinary values. But I was just thinking as we were chatting, Todd, that if you don't know, well, what does a winemaker look for if it might be a good deal, or like, well, I'm going to pass on that one, but look at that. That is a deal. So I thought that'd be sort of a fun topic to chat about.
So that said, we want to pick your brain for the next 15 minutes or so on what I need to do if I find that marked down bin somewhere, and what's the best value in there.
Yeah. I think it's really helpful to know why those wines are even there. Okay. Their distributors like to be selling the most recent vintage. Even though a good red wine is going to be tasting a whole lot better 3 or 4 years after vintage, they want, when it's harvested and made, they want to be able to have that most recent vintage. And so as wines get a little bit older, like I'll give you an example in a little bit, they're trying to move those down the line to have room for the new vintages. So where do they go? Well, they are discounted to places like we've just talked about, and there's some great deals there. There's also right now there's a huge, I'll just say it realistically, an overproduction of wine. There was a lot made during COVID years, and that was where the water bill was really down
because everybody had nothing else to do.
So anyway, and now the demography has changed, both on both ends of the adult age groups, and things have changed quite a bit. So that's why those wines are there. So what do you do to find out whether something is really good? And so I have a couple tips that I think are really helpful if you're going in and have any idea about wine, or maybe you don't and you just want to explore. It doesn't mean you're gonna hit a home run like our great Mariner catcher all the time. Yeah, right. But you're gonna find some good things if you look at the right thing. First of all, are you, as I say, are you looking for a wine to go with the meal, or are you looking for a wine to go with opening the mail?
The meal or the mail?
The meal or the mail. Yeah, the meal or the mail. And we aren't really talking about wines to go open the mail with, because you can go find that, and I have a comment about that in a minute here. But if you're looking for a wine that might be good with the meal, and okay, then here's what you should do. So let the label be a help for you. If the label is fanciful, if it has a pretty picture of a pig, or it's going to be lipstick on the pig. That's what it's going to be. It's just don't do. If it's a fanciful label that is cute and everything, it's likely an opening the mail wine. Okay. But the other kind of thing too is, what do I mean by budget? I'm talking about wines that are very reasonably priced, anywhere between, frankly, $650, $750, $850, and then the most expensive ones that I've found in one of our local markets that are very good, worth 2 and 3 times what you'd find on a regular rack, are like $11.50, $12.50.
That's amazing.
That's a very good value.
Yeah.
I found a wine from one of my favorite wineries. Didn't even know they made a Chardonnay, and gosh, okay, there it is at $12.50, and I really trust that brand. And I know on their own website, because I looked it up, it was twice that.
Mm-hmm.
So, goodness gracious, I went back and got it. So anyway, opening the mail wine, look for the cute label and a fanciful name, and that's about the only good thing that wine can have, from my experience. But it still has a place. But going back to that label, let the label be your guide, and the more information on it, the better the chances it will be worth a try. And the reason for that is that the maker, or the company that's making it, big or small, is really proud of the vineyard or how long they've been making wine. All those kind of things are markers of heritage, and that's really important. So if it's a substantive label, this wine will go well with whatever, that's a good thing. The other kind of thing that is really important, I think, and it's a clue, a real quick clue. On the back label, does it say produced and bottled by? Or does it say cellared and bottled by? There's a big difference. If it's produced and bottled by, and they actually say, yes, it's produced and bottled by, then that means that they're at least proud to put their name on it. Cellared and bottled by means that they're finding the wine in a bulk form, putting it together in their own blend. It need not be bad, but the chances are, if it's produced and bottled by a winery, it's going to be better than if it's just cellared and bottled by. And that's a real good clue. Another kind of thing to look at is the alcohol level. And it used to be, back when, 50 years ago, or even 30 years ago, a normal alcohol level would be 12 and a half. And what we're doing now, though, is producing or picking our grapes at a higher sugar level, because that's when they're more flavorful. And then that higher sugar level translates into a higher alcohol level. And just because you're looking at a wine that is at 13 and a half or 14 and a half or something like that, doesn't mean that it's going to be really hot and what I call somnolent. It's not.
I like that word. I know exactly.
Somnolent.
Yes.
No. And all wine should be enjoyed. The meal in fact, there's a whole other conversation that we could have about that. But no, it's the wine will be much more flavorful and good. And it's not a matter of this is a fortified wine, because it's just not true.
Right.
In fact, if you're looking at the only wines to actually look at the alcohol or whatever like that is are a beautiful rosé are often and a white wine are often at that 12% kind of thing, because the grapes are picked at a lower sugar level. So that's another kind of trick.
Yeah.
So
I was looking at your notes here too, and let's talk a bit about. You skipped over the variety, what is in that wine.
Oh yeah,
that's
touch
on that.
That's a good one. If a wine is labeled as Cabernet Sauvignon or Merlot or something else, it's a variety that. And by the way, in the New World, in America, and everywhere else the explorers went, but in America specifically. The wine, if it's a varietal wine, it has to be at least 75% of that variety. Now, they may or may not tell you what it's been blended with to get that other 25%. But when you're dealing with a more generic wine, which I think I've made up a fanciful name, California Cuvée, or something, Hardy Burgundy. Remember that one? Ancient years ago. I don't even know but it was pretty good. But if they, one of the things there is that if it's generic, that isn't necessarily going to be of the substance and quality that a named variety will be. And And then if you can then go back to that label kind of thing, if maybe they've told you where the region is, where the if it's from Paso Robles, there's a term in the feds that is an American viticultural area, and those are specific, unique growing areas that are approved. The name is approved by the feds. We have 21 of them in the state of Washington now, which is stunning.
Yeah.
When I first started 33 years ago, there were maybe 2. Columbia Valley and Yakima. That was about it. But now we work with 7 vineyards and 5 AVAs.
Wow.
And that's called lunacy. But anyway.
But you signed up for that.
I did. Yeah.
So, all right. So I just wanted to make sure that folks know a little bit about because if you get a wine that starts telling you more about what really is in there, that's probably you're leaning towards a better quality.
And then the other kind of thing, though, is what about international wines that for instance, the Europeans name the wine for the not the variety. In fact, watch out for a French wine that has the variety on it, because that is going to be cheap. It's not going to be from a local, a real live producer. You have to know the region a little bit more. But that being said, one of the great places that I love finding very, very fine valued wines are in the Rhone area. That's the south of France. Okay. And those are always blends like Chateauneuf du Pape. Doesn't that sound cool?
Oh, yeah.
Chateauneuf du Pape. And it's P-A-P-E, not P-O-P. So it is the Chateau of the Pope when the Pope was over there. Well, anyway, there were 2 popes at the time, but that's another story, isn't it? Lots of wine involved.
You got a lot of stories in there.
I have a lot of stories. Well, anyway, but those wines are beautiful, beautiful, rich blends of wines that a lot of us enjoy, of a Syrah as an example, or a Grenache, or something or other else. And they are beautiful regional blends. And if you can find one of those that is at a reasonable price, and you can, I've found them myself, that's probably going to be a pretty darn good wine. And the other kind of thing, just to go on with that, is that the rosés from the Rhone area are absolutely beautiful. They're bone dry. The previous world over here, run by a large company that starts with a G, made all sorts of pink wines that were sweet, and we think that's a rosé, and it is not. It is not. And there's nothing nicer on a summer afternoon than a beautiful chilled rosé.
Of the French variety,
or mine,
or your variety, right?
Oh yeah,
because yours is
in
yours
that
is
style.
not the sweetie.
No.
All right, so I'm trucking through the aisles. Give me the what the brass tacks, if you will, as to so I can go home and say, honey, I got us this. You're not going to believe what I paid for this.
Yeah.
And she's going to love me for it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, what are you having for dinner?
Okay.
That's very helpful.
So let's just go with we're just going to have a steak dinner. Let's do something standard.
Okay, let's go for it. Okay. So, if I am in the aisle and I am looking for a nice steak dinner, then the other question, well, how are you preparing that steak? Well, it's just going to be a simple barbecue. Okay, well, that's, and it's a nice steak and the other kind of things. I would, a lot of people would gravitate towards Cabernet Sauvignon. Mm-hmm. I tend to go for a really luscious, well-aged Merlot.
Okay.
They are more mouth-filling. A Cabernet really needs a lot of age. You also don't know how this is where it gets to be, how is the wine made? How much oak did they use? What's the vineyard? The other Merlot is certainly not more generic. The most expensive wines in the world are Merlot from the right bank of Bordeaux. Cheval Blanc that's not a white shovel. That's Cheval Blanc. We could go on forever, couldn't we? We could just go. Anyway, but that is an extraordinarily expensive wine. Yeah. It is a blend of Merlot and Cabernet Franc. So I would maybe think about a Merlot. You're going to find a better value there as well.
Okay.
The other kind of thing that I would suggest that you do is, if you're in a mainline grocery, everything is stocked so that the first thing you see are the most expensive bottles you can find. I mean, they really are. And bless their hearts, that's good marketing. But look down one line. Look down one shelf. Don't keep going, or else you're going to be into the cute label. Don't do that. I mean, just please don't do that. But down just a little bit. And then there's going to be, for the Merlots, there's going to be a wide range of them, most likely in the main markets, in the big things, which starts with S. So I would look for, if you have any thought. In fact, let's say that you did not want to get something you've always had. Okay? So what are you going to do? So I would look for a wine that, again, going back to that label, I would look to see, is it vineyard designated? That might mean that's sort of special.
Yeah.
It might be, you could also see that maybe the Merlot has been blended with some Cab Franc or something else like that. It's still a Merlot, but they're going to tell you what's in there. And that's a mark of their sense of quality about that. They are not ashamed to say, yeah, it's got this in it. They are glad that it's in there. So some other kind of things too, looking at, if you can find, sometimes you can find a bottle of a nice red wine that somehow stuck in the back and it's like 4 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my God, grab
Get it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, get it. You'll be much more pleased. And by that, now, the other kind of thing for Washington wines, 3 to 5 years after the vintage date, which is the date that's on the bottle, is a good time for beginning to open that bottle. The more expensive the bottle, the longer you want to have it age.
Got it?
That's
All
just
right.
a general rule of thumb.
Well,
Yeah, so that's one of the things that I would think about.
I think those are some great tips. And I always say, and if it says camaraderie cellars on it, grab it.
Yeah, and we aren't widely distributed in groceries or places like that because it's very, very actually difficult to get into those stores, and we frankly will try to work with really good wines at very fair prices.
Yeah.
For us, as an example, those wines that I'm even talking about that are $6, $8, $9 or something like that at the secondary store, that winery sold that to the distributor for about $1.50 or $2, right. And that doesn't cover my costs. That doesn't do anything. And then it's a pain in the butt, and you're going to be paid 60 to 90 days afterward. Big boys can afford to do that. Not us little guys.
Yeah.
Not us little guys.
That's why you should always grab that. And I tell you what, it's the best value. I'm not saying that just because they're sitting there, Don, and I've known you for years.
Yeah, we have known each other for a long time. And, as we, how many more minutes do we have?
A couple more minutes.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Harvest is right on us, and it's early. And here's an interesting thing. Doesn't that mean that the sugars are really high? That's going to be great. One of the things that we've learned in the last few years is that as the sugars go up, flavor does not necessarily match that. So sugars are going to go up, but we're waiting for full flavor development. And we actually, our assistant winemaker, Amy Harksel, is over with our consultant in Eastern Washington today at 102 degrees, going to our vineyards and checking them out to see how they are, because the vineyard owner and manager tends to want to get those grapes off his property once they're purple, and that may not be right. So they are working, and our consultant over there, who's very well known, is really monitoring those, and they are picking to our schedule rather than just whenever they think that they're ready to go.
Is that easier said than done? This sounds like something that you might have a little more leverage with because you've been at this so long and you've made the relationships.
Well, it really isn't that hard because we're working with extraordinary vineyards, and they are professionals and want to meet our needs, and it's not just to meet their desire or logistic. And that's really important. Important to work with people like that.
But real quick, like I asked you a bit about how the harvest looked this year. Beyond that, kind of fill us in. How's it looking from a winemaker's perspective?
Well, here's the thing: is that this is our 33rd year doing this, and while it's really hot now, in the middle of or the late part of September, it might get cool again. I don't know. And so things will hang on. I've had times that at the end of September, I'm going over Snoqualmie Pass in snow. I don't know. But that's why experience of 30 some odd years is very helpful. Okay, I've seen this play before. Yeah. I know what to do. But generally, I think we're going in for a good harvest, but it's at least a week, if not a week and a half early. For instance, I brought in Sauv Blanc just last week before Labor Day, and it's always the week after Labor Day. I mean, you can count on it. And it's just it's and the same thing is going on in Oregon right now. By the way, we just brought in our first Pinot Noir from Willamette Valley last year. We'll be doing the same thing this year too. So that's sort of a really neat thing. We continue to. That's sort of a personal project of mine that I'll keep you posted about.
Oh, absolutely. So, Don, it is always great to talk to you. Thanks for coming in, and we're not going to wait so long because you always have great tips for us.
Well, we're gonna just always have a good time, and I just love it. I do have this final comment that the hunt is worth the hike, and it's fun and need not be expensive. It's still a gamble, but you can improve the odds with a good purchase by paying attention to the label, willing to learn from a good and not so good choices you've made. But whatever it is, enjoy with friends and a good meal and make your own camaraderie.
I think that's perfect. You know, every once in a while, you think you've got the meal wine, but it's really the male wine,
That's
right?
That's exactly right. Or female, I don't know. But
although I've had some good male wine that I thought, you know what, this could have been good at dinner.
It could have been, yeah, especially with that burger. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Camaraderie Cellars there, and some great tips on how to get some high value wine, not just the price, but in general, you're going to get good bang for your buck. We're going to take a break, wrap things up right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on Newsradio KONP.
I understand that as our world becomes more automated, receiving personalized service from a real person is more meaningful than ever. I'm Dan Shappy, and as a farmer's agent, I know a thing or two about how to help you select the insurance you want so you can
protect what matters most.
Call 360-681-0696 to learn more and chat with me, a real person and experienced farmer's agent, today.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Underwritten by Farmers Truck Fire Insurance Exchanges and Affiliates. Products not available in every state.
It's time for Your Port of PA Today. A look inside the port and share what's in it for you.
I'm Port Commissioner Connie Bove. The Port of Port Angeles is excited to bring you a look inside your port, the wide-ranging companies operating in our facilities, and share exciting upcoming projects designed to develop and upgrade infrastructure to attract even more business and jobs to our area. Did you know over 50 companies are on port property, totaling over 1,000 jobs? The Port of PA stretches well beyond the Port Angeles Harbor. The port owns and operates 2 airports, William R. Fairchild International and the CQ Airport, providing convenient and essential access to some of the more remote areas of the peninsula. We'll continue to bring you insights from the Port of PA on future segments. Email hello@portofpa.com or keep up to date on Facebook.
This has been Your Port of PA Today. Explore portofpa.com.
End-of-life decisions are hard. Be it pre-planning or sudden loss, you need to have an advocate in your corner, which is why I wholeheartedly recommend Drennan and Ford Funeral Home and Crematory in Port Angeles, the only locally owned funeral home and crematory in Clallam County. Their expertise ensures a smooth process so you can focus on healing and being with your loved ones. Their help through the darkest time in my life will forever stay with me. Call 360-457-1210.
Hi, this is Mike from American Rare Coin and Gold in Sequim. Do you have a house project needs doing but lacking the funds? Now is a great time to sell gold, silver, or rare coins. Prices are at an all-time high. We love to buy coin collections, gold and silver jewelry and bullion. We even help with entire estates. You could be sitting on a literal gold mine. Come see me, Mike, at American Rare Coin and Gold in Sequim. Call 360-968-4943.
Hello, Clallam County. Tri-State's opening their new showroom in Sequim by appointment only, offering roofing, Pella windows, siding, patio covers, and doors. To schedule an appointment, please call 360-208-2222. or visit tristate.pro. Thank you for putting your trust in Tri-State Roofing. We got you covered.
Tri-State Roofing, we got you covered.
Thrill Seekers, your final summer action-packed blowout is happening this weekend. Get your tickets now for the sprint boat races at the Extreme Sports Park on Saturday and Sunday. Witness the jaw-dropping explosion of power as these boats navigate through wild twists and turns. See the West Coast Surf Riders and the PNW Water X racer groups during halftime. The 2025 American Sprint Boat Racing season finale. Tickets on sale now at extremesportspark.net.
As the school bells ring again, let's keep our young learners safe. Stay vigilant while driving through school zones, watching for kids crossing. Remind your family, friends, and neighbors to be extra cautious too. Let's make this academic year accident-free. Our children's well-being is a shared responsibility. Slow down, stay attentive, and ensure a safe journey for every student. Together, we can create a secure environment as kids head back to school. This message brought to you by all of us at Radio Pacific.
This is Newsradio KONP.
Picture this: a warm summer evening, great company, and the perfect deck beneath your feet. If you're looking to build a deck, or your current deck is showing its age, it's time for an upgrade. And your favorite employee-owned stores, Angelus Millwork and Hartnaggles, are here to help. Our employee owners don't just sell decking, we listen, guide, and make sure you get the perfect materials for your home, budget, and lifestyle. Looking for natural beauty? Cedar and Douglas fir decking bring warmth and real wood character, but they do require regular upkeep. Want low maintenance durability? Composite decking blends wood and plastics for long-lasting strength with minimal care. But maybe you need the ultimate in longevity. PVC decking comes with warranties of up to 50 years and requires little more than a simple rinse to stay looking great. See and feel the difference for yourself. Visit lumbertraders.com or stop by Angelus Millwork or Hartnaggles to talk with a decking specialist today. As always, we deeply appreciate you for shopping local and employee-owned.
This message is brought to you by the law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, Port Angeles and Sequim.
Hi, I'm Clallam County Sheriff Brian King. As kids return to school, they may not always be mindful of safety while walking or waiting for buses. It's our responsibility to watch out for them. Stay alert for the pedestrians, yield at crosswalks, slow down in school zones, and give buses ample space. Let's ensure a safe back-to-school season together.
The law firm of McMiniman and McMiniman, protecting you and your family since 1985.
Miss, your burger is served.
Thank you.
And if I may suggest a pairing, this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. The sweetness of Pepsi perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger, while the citrus and carbonation elevates the taste for a truly stunning flavor profile. Bon appetit.
Now that is one perfect combination. If this is how the other half lives, I could get used to this. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Since 1945, Newsradio KONP has been your source for news and community. We are Newsradio KONP Port Angeles Sequim.
From every ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Florida is moving to end all vaccine mandates, even for school children. State Surgeon General Dr. Joseph Ladapo.
Every last one of them is wrong and drips with disdain and slavery.
A statement from the American Academy of Pediatrics President Dr. Susan Cressley says when children are sick and miss school, parents miss work. Former CDC Chief Dr. Richard Besser says it puts children at risk and others around them with underlying medical conditions. A federal judge has stopped the Trump administration's attempt to cut $2.2 billion in research funding from Harvard University. Judge Allison Burroughs writing that the administration used anti-Semitism as a smokescreen. She says while we must fight anti-Semitism, we equally need to protect our rights like free speech. Survivors of the 2023 Maine mass shooting are suing the federal government, alleging that the Army should have stopped one of its reservists, Robert Card, from carrying out the massacre. 18 people were killed. Travis Brennan, an attorney for the victims.
Blatant warning sign after blatant warning sign provided opportunity after opportunity for the Army to act and address Card's unfolding mental health crisis.
New York City Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani, a front-runner, according to the polls, reacting to a New York Times report that associates of President Trump are discussing offering New York City Mayor Eric Adams a White House job to get Adams out of the race to hurt Mamdani.
The same president who will throw millions of New Yorkers off their health insurance is now seeking to undermine the very fabric of this city.
For the first time since April 2021, unemployed Americans outnumber job openings, says a Labor Department report. It says employers posted 7.2 million at the end of July. You're listening to ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Ruling out a plea deal, the defense in the Gilgo Beach serial killer case in Suffolk County, Long Island, despite a legal blow in court today. Prosecutors say contested DNA evidence links Rex Heuermann to the murders of at least 7 victims. The defense claims the evidence was illegally obtained using new DNA technology.
He's taking a not guilty plea. He's entered a not guilty plea from the beginning.
Any plea deal that you're talking to
There's no
DA
plea
about?
deal.
Defense attorney Michael Brown. Heuermann is jailed. Thick, smoky air is blanketing parts of the West as dozens of wildfires burn in parts of California and Oregon. Fires from Canada also causing the smoky conditions, which are making their way east. ABC News forecaster Melissa Griffin.
We still have the fire danger. This is for dry thunderstorms combined with hot temperatures. That lightning and gusty winds, those can fuel additional fires and spread the ones that are already burning in parts of California and Oregon. Right up to the Cascades in Washington, the red flag warning goes into effect tomorrow.
The Powerball jackpot has now grown to an estimated $1.4 billion in tonight's drawing. That's the 6th largest U.S. lottery jackpot. In Philadelphia, Keith Arthur says he can't even imagine having that much cash.
That kind of money, I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. But I'm going to enjoy the money. If they come out, I'm going to enjoy it.
On Wall Street, the Dow closed lower, the S&P and NASDAQ indexes higher. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
KONP News brought to you by McCrory Carpet One. Always priced right, always done right. It's McCrory Carpet One. State Department of Ecology expanding its drought emergency. Clallam County now is included, along with much of central Washington and Puget Sound. Stream flows below normal. Yakima Basin reservoirs are at their lowest late summer level since 1971. Officials say it's going to take a long, cold, wet winter to ease the drought conditions. Thousands of state and community college workers are voting on a revised contract that could restore a 3% raise they missed in July. If ratified, the deal would provide back pay and add another 2% boost next summer.
Here's your News Radio KONP forecast, brought to you by All Weather Heating and Cooling. High temperatures reach up to 72 this afternoon under mainly sunny skies, winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Lows level off around 58 tonight, partly cloudy skies. High temperatures reach up to 74 tomorrow, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Highs around 72 Friday under partly cloudy skies. 69 Saturday, slight chance for showers. Take a look at the extended forecast. 66 Sunday, 65 Monday, and 63 on Tuesday. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist Paul Trombley. Right now, 74.
is broke and common sense is weird. So we're here to help you transform your life. From the Ramsey Network in the Fairwinds Credit Union studio, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you with your life and your money. We're taking calls. If you want to call in, the number's 888-825-5225. We'll get you on the line. I'm Jade Warshaw. Next to me, George Camel in the place to be.
I can't wait. This is going to be fun.
Do the people know?
They know. Yeah, my wife and I, we just had our second baby, a beautiful little boy named Henry. So I'm coming into the show because I just needed to get out of the house, Jade.
Listen, I wondered about that. Okay.
We got a lot of help at home, though. So
right.
She's doing great. Mom's doing great. Baby's doing great. We got applause in the lobby here. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so great. I'm glad you're here with me in the co-pilot seat, George. Let's take off to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where we've got James on the line. What's up, James?
Well, congratulations on the new baby.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. So I just inherited $750,000 in a Roth IRA.
Whoa, wow. From who?
I'm going to buy a new home, mainly because of the neighborhood I'm currently in. It's time to find a new one, and the spouse would like to be farther out in rural central Pennsylvania. Okay. What I'm trying to figure out is what is a good amount to pay for a home. We've got a little disagreement of about $50,000 to $75,000 on what we should spend.
Wow. So bar none, hey, I want to spend this money on a house, and you're just like, how much should we spend? Have you kind of looked at, real estate in your area to find out, okay, we're looking for a 3-bedroom, we're looking for this, and this is what it costs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been on the MLS probably 3 hours a night for the last 2 weeks.
And what are you finding?
I'm finding a lot of prices coming down on homes that I didn't think I could afford a month ago.
Uh-huh.
Or I wanted to pay for a month ago, and a lot of areas, and I've pretty much tossed away homes that definitely need a lot of work, or we don't have good pictures. Or I was a realtor 20 years ago, and I'm astonished at some of the pictures they put on the MLS. I'm like, my God, buy a camera, come on.
So what's
your current house worth?
Yeah,
$160.
It's worth $160, and is it paid for outright, or do you owe on it? Or
no, I owe $80,000 on it. I've got a 2.5% mortgage. I had the stupid thought of renting it after I buy another